What up, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about, you guessed it, the Taurus Cup. Yes, the Taurus Cup finals has just finished, and I could just speak for myself. I learned a lot this cup, and I just wanted to share with you three things that I learned about this Taurus Cup. I was not fortunate enough to win it. I did get second in my graded A finals. I know a lot of people won their finals that I know. Congratulations to them. If you didn't get the placement, you won. I guarantee that you won a lot, especially if you actually pour a bunch of money in the game, a bunch of time, and you didn't lose, and you didn't win. My fault. I'm sure that you learned a lot, and if you quit, that's perfectly understandable. But if you're gonna keep going, I'm sure you're gonna get the win in the next Champions Meet because of the things that you learned in this one. But anyway, let's get into the things that I learned about this Champions Meet. And no, I'm not talking about running two debuffers and hunting down the front runners and pace chasers. No, we are not talking about that today. Even though that picture was very funny and so relatable. But yeah, the first thing that I learned in the Champions Meet is that the competition is not that steep. You heard all the time that you will have to make the perfect horse be able to go up against the absolute monstrosity of horses that the whales make. That is absolutely not the case. You do not have to make the best horse going into the Champions Meet. What you do have to do is make a horse that can stand up against the track itself. If your horse can perfectly maneuver and go around the track without any problems, that automatically gives you a chance to win no matter what. Don't worry about having the best made horse to win on the final day on day one. The competition is not steep enough. People are running horses they like, horses they love, horses that they actually want to run on the first two qualifying days. It might become different as we move into the game's lifespan, but as far as I could see right now, there were a ton of different horse combinations that were being run, and they were winning and getting people into the qualifying stages. So I would not worry about the competition being that hard. If you were in open league, I implore you to try graded league next time, and you will be able to qualify as long as you keep running and you make horses that can stand up to the track with a little bit of knowledge and information that you could gather, just like I did. I just spent like 30 minutes looking up how the track was going to affect my horses and what I needed to build, and that was it. And I was able to qualify into the next rounds just with that little bit of knowledge. So a little bit of information gathering could take you a long way. The competition is not that steep, I promise you. The next thing that I learned is that perfect built Umas can still lose. Yes, yes. You can spend the whole time making parents, making ace Umas, and you can still lose. I know it sounds crazy, it's unfair, yes, but just like the life of a gambler, sometimes things will not go your way. But it's how we deal with those things that makes us even better and more emotionally stable gamblers. Am I right? But yeah, even the perfectly built Umas can lose in this game. I know there's a saying out there, it's a popular phrase in Japan and even brought more to light with the Japanese content creator out there. I forget his name, I'm sorry, but if you're blocked, you're blocked. So if a perfectly built Uma is blocked, that perfectly built Uma is toast. Also, you get debuffed at the right time at the end stage, you can still lose to mediocre Umas. And as well as, if you do not proc skills because of RNG, you can still lose. So perfectly built Umas can still lose in this game. So never be too scared when you see a perfectly built Uma in your lobby. There is still a chance you can win. So don't. And if you're the person with the perfectly built Uma, you still have to come to the realization that the game is RNG at the end of the day. Perfectly built Umas can still lose. So don't get too upset. when your UMA lose if you think you've built the best one. And also, don't be too afraid of a UMA just because they're in your lobby and have all the stats and skills that they need to win the game. That is not the only factors in this game that pertain to having a winning race. Anything can happen in those races. And the final thing, and one of the things that I learned, most importantly during the Taurus Cup, is this: your day one horse will not be, or is not always going to be, your ending horse. A lot of people, there are a lot of stories of horses being built on the last day. And yes, the horses that are being built on the last day are winning races. A lot of horses have no history of racing and are winning on the last day. That means people are still working well into the event to get the best horse that they can for finals day. And that was me. I was not doing well on the second lobby, the second qualifying match. But what did I do? I kept building horses. I kept working, and then I finally ended on a decent Aguri and a decent Ghost Ship that allowed me to go into into the finals. It can be you too. Don't think just because you entered the event, entered the champions meeting with a not less than stellar horse, that horse is gonna be the horse that you have at the end. It simply will not turn out that way. RNG is RNG, and when you build your horse, it could be the first day of the champions meet all the way up to the last day of the champions meet, to where you have to set your roster for the final day. You can still build a horse good enough to win. So never, well, I wouldn't say never, but it is not always that the day one horse that you come into the champions meet with is your final horse. So I would just like to say, just relax and just have fun. Build the horses you want to build. Try to stay within the parameters of the champions meet, and keep working well into the champions meet, because you never know when your winning horse is going to be made. You just never know. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Congratulations to everybody who played in the champions meet, got the placement that they wanted, and had fun. Like, I just thought it was a good experience. I thought it was a unique experience. Sure, best of one for the final race sucks, but I think it is exciting for most players, and I'm pretty sure that all the people that made the best built UMAs that lost wanted it to be more races, while the people who won with less stellarly built UMAs like it being best of one. There's a big contention about that, about if it's fair, if it's not fair, is it more fun, is it more lifelike? Is it more real life to have a best of one race where there's a bunch of different factors? Me, myself, personally, I'm okay with best of one, but I understand the sentiment of having it being a best of three, or just like the qualifying rounds to get into the champions meet finals. I understand both sides. I would stay true to the best of one, because horses normally only race one time, right? The winner only gets one race in the finals. So I think it's more true to life that way. But I understand the other side as well. But yeah, I thought it was a fun time. I thought it was cool. I'll probably go a little bit harder in the Gemini Cup, even though this is supposed to be a harder race, and see if I can win it. I'm sure a lot of people will forget about their loss or their win as they continue to go further into the champions meet. And hopefully people are not too upset that they didn't get their titles for getting second and third. I heard that they fixed that later on, and people get their titles that they should have gotten for getting second or third. But that's all I have today. I really have nothing bad to say about the champions meet other than the fact that it was best of one. Really have nothing else bad to say. I felt like I had enough time to make the horses if I really wanted to. I felt like as a person that really didn't know much about building Umas in this game and started looking up information well into the Champions Meet to try to build horses while the Champion Meet was going. I felt like it was simple enough, even though there's still things I don't quite understand. There's enough guys out there that are simple enough to understand to where you can get the information you needed in order to build a decent horse for the Champions Meet. But yeah, that's all I have today. And if you haven't played this game and you don't know anything about Champions Meet, I can tell you that it is a unique experience that I've only had in this game. And I would at least try it once if you have not. I would at least, if you're interested in this game and you're interested in having a unique experience in a gacha game, I would highly recommend starting this game and try Champions Meet. The feeling of competition, gambling, and anxiety that comes with competing against other people's horses and having that thrill of watching a horse run around the track against other horses, hoping to win, is exhilarating and also stressful. Can't tell you the amount of streams I've been in where people are literally sweating bullets, anxious, faces turning red as their horses run around the track. It's so funny. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I actually like the Champions Meet a lot, and I'm looking forward to the other ones as well. But yeah, talk to you guys later. Peace.